What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and you may have seen yesterday's guide on how to play Wraith. We're actually going to be back today on how to play Pathfinder, because Wraith and Pathfinder are the top two legends which I've been playing for the past couple of weeks since Apex's release. This month's giveaway, the March giveaway, is Dirt 3, the awesome racing game on Steam. So if you want to enter, make sure to subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and click the link in the description below. Also make sure to click in the comment section and drop your opinion on the video. The link in the description and the comments allows you to enter the giveaway. So without further ado, let's dive into these tips and tricks on how you can play Pathfinder like a pro and get better. So first of all, let's look at the abilities. So ability number 1 is the Q. This is the grapple hook, and it's useful for doing a lot of different things. It's useful for getting around for one, because you can easily get to different locations on the map, and it has a pretty good distance that it can be used at. You can use the Q to flank enemy positions by taking different positions with the grapple hook. You can use it to reach destinations such as behind rocks to camp, or you can use it to get to roofs to get the high ground. And this is really good because you can actually use it to get an easy drop on the enemy when you're flanking. Depending which weapon you have, for an example, if you have a rifle or a close ranged SMG, grappling onto a roof which is quite close to the enemy can be really good to get a drop on them, and you can place off a lot of damage. And you can also use this to your advantage by crouching behind cover. You can use the grapple when sliding and jumping also to bunny hop, as the jump after a grapple gives you forwards momentum. So you need to make sure after grappling you need to slide on the floor, then place a jump after a successful grapple to get that additional forwards momentum. This can be coupled when you're learning how to bunny hop or just sliding and jumping continuously to move around the map a lot quicker. Now the grapple has a fairly low cooldown, so you can use it continuously one after the other just to zoom in and around the map, especially when you're out of the safe zone or when you're trying to reach point A from point B. You can also use your mouse to actually strafe in midair to turn when swinging. So you can use this to turn your character in midair when grappling to make sure you get onto roofs or get around objects which may be in the way. There's a few different guides out there on how to grapple. I'll probably release an individual guide on how to grapple and hit successful grapple jumps and B-hops, but there's a lot of available information out there already. Now if you are actually a sniper, seeing as Pathfinder is a scout character, so you'd think that a Pathfinder would most likely be the ranger or sniper on your team, then you can use your grapple because it's perfect to get high ground or distant cover to pick off those enemies, especially when you're using the longbow, triple take, or the legendary Kraber. If you have a sniper, it's always best to just grapple. You could even use your zipline, although it's a little bit easier for enemies to predict where you're going, so it's more covert to use your Q to reach positions when getting that sniper spot. Try and set yourself up in a position that has clear range and vision all around the area where you want to pick off enemies. Now let's move on from the Q and let's focus a little bit more on the Z ultimate ability, which is actually a zipline. Now you can use this to actually transport the whole team to be mobile around the map. You can use this along with your Q to reach high positions or get close to the zone as a team. Now you can use this with your team to actually play aggressive as well, to grapple and zipline onto a roof really close to the competition. It's basically a permanent version of your Q which will last a long time on the ground and your whole team can take it. With your Q, the grapple will disappear and it only lasts for a few seconds just so you can specifically reach a destination. But with your Z ultimate, your whole team can take a long zipline to somewhere like a roof, so it can be beneficial. The only downside is that the enemy team can also take the grapple hook that you left behind, so you really need to keep this in mind. Now another really smart thing when playing Pathfinder is actually there's various item locations around the map which are satellites which are placed in various situations which are also marked on your map in game. These are called beacons. These beacons are something that Pathfinders use specifically to activate, which allows them to see the next zone circle and what is going to be on the map, so you can plan your position, you can plan how fast or slow you're going to move, and where your next destination is going to be based around where the next zone is going to be, so obviously you don't fall off into the zone. This means you can stay longer in a camping position or behind cover and wait for enemies to push the zone quicker than you because they may not have the information that you do. Remember, staying on the edge of the zone is less of a risk because you have less of a risk of being sandwiched or backstabbed by the enemies. The worst situation when playing Apex is when you get sandwiched between two teams and you're the unlucky ones in the middle who are targets for both teams. Kinda sucks, so using this to your advantage and knowing the next zone can kinda prevent this from happening so much. But you do need to be aware that certain characters like Wraith can negate full damage from the zone by using their Q, which is obviously her Rift ability, which means that some people can still be camping in the zone and use it to their advantage to actually win games. So just because you're on the edge of the zone doesn't mean you're always the only ones near the zone or in the zone. Now your zipline, which is the ultimate, is perfect to be used to position behind enemies to flank them from behind. So if there's two teams fighting, you can be that team to sandwich the second team in the middle of the first team, and you can come behind them with your zipline to basically just shoot them in the back. Now this might seem like a scumbaggy play, but trust me, if you're the one in the middle of the two teams, you'd be the target as well, so don't feel guilty when making these kind of plays, even if they don't take as much skill. Remember, we're mainly going to build up our eliminations and take out as many players in the game as possible. We're not really looking to do it in a moral way. Even if it's immoral and slightly less skill based, it's still another strategy you can use because the zipline can make it easy to zip in. If there's two teams fighting, remember some of those people on one of the teams could be low as they're getting poached from another team, so you can pick off some of those easy eliminations for yourself when you're shooting them from behind. Don't feel guilty, just stack up that sweet kill count. Now one thing you need to do is you need to be severely careful because ziplines are so easy to predict where you will go for enemies. When you throw a zipline down, it will make a sound for one. Sometimes if you're close enough you might hear Pathfinder, and thirdly, people will see you on that zipline and you'll be moving rather slow, which means if they have good aim and good prediction on the aim, they could easily shoot in front of the zipline to hit exactly where you're going to go. So it's quite easy to predict shots and predict the destination of the zipline because the zipline distance isn't really too far, so people will always see the start point and the end point of the zipline. So unless you don't mind people following you, never use it defensively when other people can see you when you're getting away from a fight, unless you're going to expect them to follow you. Coupling your zipline after a Wraith portal can make getting into the zone even faster and easier. Remember, team composition and combinations is really useful and super important, so using a Wraith on a team, a Pathfinder on a team, basically go hand in hand together to speed you up in and out of the zone and in and out of combat. It's very good to have both of these characters on a team because if you need to get in, it's easy to do, and if you need to get out of the fight, at least one of you guys is still going to have the abilities up. The most perfect team combination which I've had so far with Pathfinder is Pathfinder with Wraith, basically for the reasons we've just listed, and then having that lifeline in there as well, just to be able to throw down that heal if you need it, because if you're taking really risky fights, which Pathfinder and Wraith are very notorious for, then you're going to always need that heal at the end of the fight, and having that lifeline there to drop back on is going to be absolutely perfect in a team comp. So having those three characters in a team can be very high risk, high reward, as long as you have the skill to pull it off. So think about team composition and think about other enemy players and legends which you can counter and work well against. For an example, if you're using the zipline on Pathfinder, you can very easily move out of Bangalore's ultimate, which is the missile rockets, so that's a really good tip to actually get out of the bombardment. Another thing is if you walk into a caustic trap when you're more in the open, it's extremely easy to zipline out of it because it doesn't do too much damage per second, only when you're in it for a prolonged duration of time. Use your Q to get out of risky situations such as this, and you can play Pathfinder to its full potential. Now I wouldn't really recommend coupling Pathfinder with someone like caustic because they really don't go hand in hand together. There's nothing really special that they both can do additionally together. Pathfinder is the kind of support character that can work in literally any team composition and still be useful. It's just whether the other characters work usefully with him. I hope all these tips on Pathfinder were super useful to let you know how to use the Q, the ultimate, and much more to its max potential, and I hope it lets you guys get better at Pathfinder and help you play like a pro at Pathfinder. If these tips were useful, then smash the like on the video and subscribe, because every single day I'm putting out a new video on Apex Legends or some other kind of battle royale or news on movies and games, so definitely be sure not to miss out. Those of you who subscribe and like the video are at the chance to enter the giveaway as well, which is in the description and the comments. We're giving away Dirt 3, the racing game, on Steam this month, and it's completely free to one winner who subscribed, likes the video, and leaves a comment which Apex Legend character or legend you want me to feature in the next guide. Make sure to do all that and click the link below to make sure your entry is submitted. Thanks for watching guys, I really appreciate all the support, and I'll see you next time.